I feel like it's gonna be like the intro every time, and we're like, "What is this?" And then we go like 2 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck it is. Okay, so how ahead are we from the schedule? Like probably 2, almost 3 weeks ahead.
Like when is this one gonna come out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks.
2 to 3, right?
Because we still have the CKC. Well,
CKC one is like, I'd call it like a half episode, so that's fine.
oh yeah. And the other one with the outliers.
Yeah, that one. I'm calling them out right now. I need my fucking audio. We've recorded that podcast a fucking week ago, and I can't get the damn audio for it. So if you're listening, yeah, I'm calling you out, nigga. I probably have it by now. I mean, if I don't have it by now,
by the time this one's out,
yeah, I'm suing the outliers, and I'm going for their demise.
Because like for intellectual property.
Yes, because we like half own this. Since it was like we spoke for probably like around 40 to 50%.
You don't own it.
Of the
You don't
time.
own words and knowledge.
Yes, I do. In that case, nigga, I do. I'm actually cheese, bro. I'm like, what is this static? Don't fucking static me. Who the fuck do you think you are staticking me, you little whore?
You're just changing the subject because you know you're wrong, and your anger is
What?
overriding your.
What? That I can't get my damn audio?
Yeah.
Nah, I just hate not being in control. It's annoying. Let's speak about that. Let's talk about control. Since we're going off top here, we don't have anything planned.
Yeah, we don't have
let's,
anything
Let's
planned.
talk about fucking control.
Oh yeah, this is the first solo podcast.
Oh
for
yeah.
Anyone that's not.
We're
watching.
7 episodes in, and this is like finally the first one we're doing,
Yeah.
like just the two hosts, because we love people too much.
Yeah.
And we're doing this outside my house, as you can tell from this beautiful scenery, because I have a beautiful backyard. Don't rob me.
Yeah, don't rob me.
I'm actually not rich. There's just a rich nigga backyard and a pretty average
There's a
house.
pool, plus everything.
There's a pool right now. The weather's amazing. He's
Overcast.
late, so we can't get the sun in.
You told
but
me
it-
to come at this time, bro.
Yeah, bro, control. I don't think it's everyone who's like that, but it's kind of a human thing, though.
I think like you can be okay with less control as you, like it's like a muscle.
Yeah, I feel like it's something you learn, cause
Like in school, like I learned this thing. It's like internal locus of control and external locus of control. If like people who have an internal locus of control, like this, it's not exactly what you were talking about, but this is basically like saying like if you rely on things external to yourself, like to determine whatever things, then you're gonna be less happy in general.
Oh, the wind is so cool in this. It doesn't even matter. It sounds kind of relaxing, like some ASMR shit.
Okay, well you just interrupted my sentence. But,
Oh yeah,
so
sorry.
yeah, the internal locus of control is like basically people who like, yeah, like I control it. Like whatever I want to happen it is in my
That's a
hands.
personality. That's the personality trait control that you're talking about. Like
I mean,
the
I wouldn't even
controlling,
say it's a
like
personality trait. Like it's everybody has it. Like you just have to
Some
kind
people
of
have
dig
more.
deeper to like.
because what I'm thinking about when you're saying that is like the controlling boyfriend, the controlling husband, the controlling dad who just wants everyone and everything to just like be in their control.
Yeah.
So they like use like fear tactics and shit like
Either
that.
keep it the way it is or
Yeah, either like my way or
Yeah.
either my way or it's just wrong. If you're not like living according to my rules, like it's wrong. Like with their friends, with like, but what I'm talking about is like more that relates, but
overlaps. Yeah.
I think why it's a human thing is because like we tend to dwell a lot over shit we can't control. Like I feel like that's one thing we're not naturally built into us, that we just have to learn over
think?
time, just with like life experience. Because like that's one thing you learn in life.
Well,
if you
let's
do
look
learn
at kids, right? I mean, do they really care if they're? I mean, yeah, I guess they do because they always
freak
want
out, but
mine.
yeah, but they don't dwell on shit. That's why I love kids. They don't dwell on shit. They just kind of just get the cry out, and then by like tonight, like they're just playing or just they still
Their
like
mind's off. Right?
exactly. They get over shit. They just let it out. That's
Right.
they just
But
express
for
it.
adults or older people, it can last like a few days.
It can last like days, months, years.
Like, it'll keep you up while you sleep.
It's like the whole thing, like it's like such a relatable thing for people to be like at night, like sometimes they'll just while trying to fall asleep they'll remember some shit from like 5 years ago, and they won't be able to fall asleep because they'll feel so bad about some shit that's like basically doesn't even exist anymore.
I mean, like now with like social media and everything, like the rate of technology, like there's so many variables that are here. Like your phone has Instagram, Twitter, like you have laptops, you have freaking running water.
We could go so long on social media and like how it's so shit. But it's like it's not even like we said in episode 6, like it's like it's not even that it's shit, it's just like misused. It's like people let it use them more than they use it. It's just like a lack of control, lack of being able to go like, I want to go on it, instead of, oh shit, I've been on it. I don't even remember when I came on Instagram.
Yeah.
I remember I had something to do. But
yeah.
But like,
you had to send someone a message, but then you just saw some tits.
Now I'm just like 42 weeks into this person's profile. I don't even care about this person. I'm just scrolling.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Like you've never even met this person before. Like,
yeah, and you're just so invested in just seeing like the fucking pixels that they've captured.
That's pretty crazy.
And it's like 42 weeks ago, so it barely matters. That person doesn't even remember that fucking photo.
But back to what you're saying, like not having control. Do you think like you could train yourself to get out of that?
Get out of what, like not having control?
Like
yeah, that's like the lesson you learn, I think, from just life. Like that's why I'm telling you.
Comfortable with it, right?
That's why I'm telling you, it's something you like figure out like as you just live.
Yeah.
It's like one of the things that humans just learn, like the concept of death.
Right.
Like I think you just learn that through just seeing it. Like as you like, maybe it's intrinsically. Maybe it's something we come with.
You can experience it intrinsically, but like that has to.
But
be
like
a
no.
deep
Do you think it's like
introspective,
packaged into us, like the knowledge of death, like from the moment of our birth?
I think indirectly yes, because we fear certain things, like it's in our DNA to like just run, or like if we're drowning, like baby stop breathing.
I feel like this is not getting us.
No, it is. Because like okay, like if a baby's like dropped in water, like they instinctively stop breathing to prevent like drowning, right?
Yeah, so it's probably yeah. I mean, evolution would probably make it something, but that's just a fear though. That's just from. I mean, if a fear of death exists, then the knowledge of death has to exist too.
Well, not necessarily, because the Buddha, like when because he was a prince, right? And his parents, the king, they kept him away from all that, and he didn't even know like what illness was. He never knew that people could even get sick until he like went onto the village.
Yeah.
Like why is that old guy?
Imagine how crazy that must be. How old does it say how old he was around?
I think he was probably
late teens?
in his teens, like 16 when he actually went out into the village.
Imagine being 16 and seeing the concept of illness and death for the first time.
That's the first time. Like
the first time. Like I would have so much resentment and just being mad, like for that, just for something that's so inevitable, like. Because it's gonna happen to you one day, and you don't want it when it happens to you for you to like. If you're in shock when it happens to you because you don't even know what it is, it's probably not even good for treatment.
It's gonna be more traumatic.
Yeah, it's gonna be even worse, right? So if he gets ill, like, dude, he must have gotten ill those 16 years. Did they just lie to him about what his illness was? Like,
I don't think he did, because like,
you're just tired.
Actually, I don't know, like.
But he was also a prince,
He was a prince, so everything was handed to him.
He's probably fully healthy. They probably tried their best to keep him away from it. But like, I don't know, man. For me, like being 16 and learning the concept of death and like illness and poverty for the first time, like I'd be mad, like at my parents for a good amount of time.
When was the first time you kind of realized like death was a real thing?
I don't know. That's why I think it's a package thing, because like.
What do you mean by
it's
package?
It's like as in like you just come with that knowledge, like you just born
like it's
with
built
it.
Into you sort of thing?
Yeah, because like I can't tell you a time when I was like, oh shit.
I mean, like, well, there's one thing to like subconsciously know it exists, but there's another thing to like consciously be like, oh shit, this is what it is.
I also haven't. I mean, I have, but like I was so young that it was like I was 11, so it was kind of still hard to. And my parents kind of shielded the concept from me. I just went to the funeral. Like when the earthquake happened, my aunt died, and it's like. It wasn't really like she died. It was like we can't find her, like how my parents broke it down to like, we can't find her because basically the building just crumpled. Like instead of running out, she ran into the building, so like it fucking when it fell down, basically she went with it. So like when the way my parents basically broke it was like we just can't find her. They didn't really tell you like
there's no closure.
She's dead. Like there's just like we can't find her. And next thing I know, I'm in the funeral, and that's it. And it's like to me like that whole thing was a blur. Like. To me, it felt like my parents would kind of just have shielded me a lot from like just the outside world, because it's like,
because they kind of want to keep your innocence.
Yeah, not even like consciously in the term of like where we lived in Haiti, because that's just because like they're very, I guess, like safe when it comes to security and shit, because like it's Haiti, like it's third world, so like there's a lot of crime, probably less than they make it seem like there is, but like we lived in like a pretty like far away place from like downtown, from like where most of the people live, so it was very calm. So like when the earthquake happened, like I didn't even understand what was going on. Like I was like Like I have shit. Like I have to go to school tomorrow. Like I have this fucking thing to study for. Yeah, I was like, yo, I have this fucking thing to study for. Like, and they're like, dude, like, that's no longer a thing. Like, and to me, like, I was so away from it that when it happened, I was like, I didn't even understand how bad it was until I learned that 300,000 people fucking died, and I was like, holy shit. Until we were going to the countryside to go see like our grandparents, because the countryside, it didn't happen. It was more like in the capital of the country, right? So like the countryside just felt like a 6 on the scale. We felt like a 7. They felt like a 5 to 6, like aftershocks and shit. It's like it's the fucking craziest thing, bro, because we're driving there. And like as we're driving, we're seeing, oh, it's like 2 dead people on the fucking sidewalk.
It's fuck.
Yeah, it's like 2 dead people on the sidewalk. Oh shit, like these niggas' whole houses is destroyed, and they're like literally just camping out, like trying to find shit. Like, oh, it's people here trying to fucking like see if they can find some person under this, like under these rubbers, like the rubbles,
that
and
might
just
still be breathing.
Yeah, that might still be like it was. But to me, I still felt a separation from it because I didn't actually understand it. I was also 11, and like I hadn't really had like any deaths in the family. Most of my grandparents all my grandparents are still alive. So like I still didn't have like that death, right? But that's basically to get to that point is like the reason why this is literally all to agree with you on the like the subconscious, and then when it actually happens, it hasn't actually happened where it was like a death super close to me,
like proximity.
And like the idea of not even being able to see that person anymore, it hasn't really hit me because my aunt, I wasn't like that close to her, so it wasn't like crazy like I could tell it was bad, and I still knew it was bad, but when I was too young, and then too, it's like you're not that close to her. But when it comes to like closer family, like grandparents shit, which still hasn't happened, I think that's when it's gonna like register in your head. It's like all of those things where it stopped. It's like all of those things where you like know it exists, and then
but it's not like first-hand like experience, or like it's not close enough for you to actually like.
It's like any trip, you know, when you're like, I know all these things, but now it's like,
how do I integrate?
Now it's like hitting me. Now you understand, like. It's like I know all these things exist, but now I understand that they exist. Like you feel it. It's like you know the knowledge, but then you can feel it too. It's like all those things that are so obvious. Like the entire a whole trip. The main thing you can say for the trip is like, duh.
Yeah.
All trips are is like, ours is like fuck, like duh, nigga. Like obviously that's a thing. Can you move more here? Cause I'm very freaked out about the GoPro. It's like a big oh, like duh, like of course, like I'm one with it. Of course I'm the universe.
How else did I get
Because
here?
I'm fucking in it. But it's like
I texted you yesterday. Like I'm literally half my mom and half my dad.
But wholly you.
But a whole of me. Like
yeah.
How does that even make sense?
Like your mom and dad are not like you, but you are like them. But they are like you at the same time. Yeah. But it's like that's it. That's what originality is. That's all it is. Originality is just like
you take two things that
ideas,
already exist,
it's just liquids,
and then twist it into your own
it's
kind
just
of
liquids mixed, bro. Like that's what's so funny about seeing like niggas like claiming to be original or chasing that so much that they're like doing shit that isn't even them anymore, just so like they could satisfy their ego.
They have that name tag of hey, I'm original.
Yeah, hey, I'm original. Hey, everyone, like no one's like me, blah blah blah, like screaming it out. But it's like, bro, like you're born unoriginal. You're literally taking someone's gene. Your entire fucking like family lines, like generation back.
I'd say you're born original.
Yeah.
You said born unoriginal.
You're born unoriginal because you're stealing your parents' genes.
Right. I mean, in that sense, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what makes you original. In the sense that
you are wholly you. Like, there's no one else like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're like if you just be yourself, like literally you're original. Like you don't have to try.
Exactly. It's like people don't understand that original is like literally copying. That's how you become original. But there's like, it gets like a bit more complicated because there's literally shit copying and then there's good copying. Right. That's like, what do you think? What do you think shit copying would be?
Shit copying is like, you don't even put any effort. Like you get two things. How do I like it's like you take two things and then try to make it into one, but it's kind of like it's like if you're trying to mix Andy Warhol and Jean-Michel Basquiat. All you do is Andy Basquiat. Like that's not. You're just mixing their names.
Yeah, but you're not really like trying to I think
you
it's,
don't like, you kind of have to like live in both their worlds and kind of grab something.
I think intent, like, is where the difference happens. Like, intent, like, why are you doing this? Is it because is it just because, like, though they're cool, like they're looked up to, and they had clout, and okay, that'll give me clout if I copy them. Like, okay, cool. But
or
like,
was it like original, organic?
Yeah, if it's like I'm genuinely into them and I genuinely love what they do.
And those two, it's like those two people may have had like a huge impact on my view and my artistic
like development. Yeah, and you want to emulate
what I
that.
put out is literally just coming out of me, but through like it's coming through me, but it was originally the idea is originally from them, but it just came through me.
Yeah, I think it's like, yeah, basically that is. It's more like it's the authenticity. Yeah, and it's just something that you can't really point out. It's something that someone genuinely just feels. And that's what I was saying with the N5 is like
N5
episode 5. Oh, it's like I think it's in us, like that we have this like authenticity detector where we could kind of smell bullshit. And that's why we don't really know when we like just call people like stealing, like copying. Like we don't know why we actually say it, but we usually write when we call someone out for like bad copying.
When we sense the thing.
Yeah, but like someone like Kanye who literally made a career out of just sampling old songs. You can tell that it's fire because like that's what he was into.
He kind of made it into his own thing.
Like he grew up in soul music, and it was a new thing. That's what's crazy, right? What was new
and
about
his sample base is so wide, like everything. Fucks.
It started, it's kind of dirty. It started with it's funny because I clean this, but I don't know how it gets dirty off being outside and just why. Maybe it's the rain.
Whatever. Our viewers don't care.
I don't know. Maybe it's just. One, I think it started with soul, but then he kind of expanded because I think the thing with Kanye is that he realized the importance of like how you can find old shit and then kind of just like add some shit to it and like expand it, because a lot of like if you search through like Kanye's like credits on his albums, like almost everything has a sample in it. Right. Like almost everything has some form of a sample.
Nothing under the sun is actually new. Like
exactly. And he's not trying to play it off like that. Like Kanye will have like 20 writers on one song. And it's like, Jesus Christ, it's a 3-minute song. Why do you need 20 writers? Because literally like I think what happens with him is like there's like an interview for the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is like the postman or the mailman, the whoever, like the delivery person, whoever came, they would literally just come and he'd be like, if that person, he's getting like a cool vibe from that person, he'd be like, hey, let me play you this. Tell me what you think. He'd probably just credit that person as a fucking writer. And then what I heard too is like he pays people very like generously. Like he'll be like, someone will literally say like, I think you should remove like that kick from that beat. And then he's like, writing credit, money. And it, like I don't know. I think that leaks into also like the importance of collaboration, which is why like I think a lot of the greatest artists always understood or were great because they got to understanding the concept of like
and just the value of other people,
the importance of like collaboration. Because like someone like I seem like a fucking like Ye like dick jerker, but like someone like Ye, like that's all he does. Everything he does is collaboration. And that's why everything he does looks like so perfect. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is like a lot of fucking people worked on that. And it's considered to be like one of the best albums of the decade. Like no one who's into hip hop has not heard of that album.
And that's crazy because like he gets, I mean, not all of the credit, but like basically all of the credit.
It's like a director for a movie. Yeah. Like there's a fucking team behind that movie, but the director gets the credit because I wrote about that for my film thing. Why I think they should get the credit, or at least most of it, is because like it's their vision in the end.
Yeah, like it wouldn't like they kind of planned it. Like they put it on the paper. Yeah, and the other people are kind of just like helping.
That's what collaboration requires such low ego. Because like you have to be like willing to trust people, which is something that people don't really do. And then what else? Like other people who work for you have to be like able to know that this is not their thing. Like people take over. Right. People want to take over sometimes when they're working for you.
Collective.
Yeah, they kind of want their names to be like stand out. They want to drop their signature, but they don't really understand it. Like they're just serving you in that moment. Like I don't know. I think they deserve most of the credit.
Directors?
Yeah. Directors and like the artist who collaborates with everyone.
Because you can even tell in the movies, like a Tarantino, for example. If you watch like a few of his movies, like you can, like there's a certain theme in each one of them that's like so clear you can't miss it.
Yeah.
Like you'll be able to tell that's his movie.
You're like, oh shit, that's Tarantino. Yeah. Like just fucking seeing one person get the violence.
Yeah, just the like so vulgar.
Just
bro.
the comical way that the violence is portrayed, like the blood spraying out, like it's always over the top for some reason. Yeah, bro, it's authorship theory. It's something that dates from like the 1950s in film. It was after the Second World War. I think something happened with the States where they just started investing less in films, and it was kind of easier.
What is the theory? Explain it to the.
It's basically it's this theory made by those fucking genius fucking French niggas. They were so mad about Hollywood, and how Hollywood at the time was basically just novel adaptations. Mm-hmm. All the films were just novel adaptations. Like, is it good? Why is it good? Because it just like is this book everyone loves, and it was adapted very well.
Remake it.
Yeah, they just made it very well. And they were like, bro, like directors need more of their personality inserted into the films, like create their own characters, like make their own stories, and like develop their own styles. Like they need to become like authors. They need to become authors. Just like a novelist is the author of their novel.
It's kind of the same in the sense that like you are copying from that book.
Yeah.
But you kind of need to make it your own. Or
Exactly.
else it's not authentic.
Yeah. Well, usually what they would do is just like a straight copy, follow as much as they can, like shoot as many scenes, make it in 2 hours, but shoot as many scenes as they can that portray what that book is like. And then they were like, nah. Like this guy Francois Truffaut made a big like influential essay about like a certain tendency with cinema, and it was like, nah, like I don't fuck with adaptations. And then with that they had that opinion a long time, but then there came new camera technologies and shit like that, and then they managed to get like very like portable and like cheap handheld cameras. They're like, okay, so the thing about them is like their best way that they found to criticize something is by doing it. So one quote like Godard has, which is another one of the guys from the 50s, is like the best way to criticize film is to make a film. Right. And like all of their films contain like super like meta shit where it's like the films contain like low-key like ideas on cinema, like the cinema, in the cinema they're criticizing the cinema. So it's like, but through them just like not being afraid to like show their style and like making shit like super artsy, and like randomly they'll have scenes that have nothing to do with the storyline. Like they didn't really value the storyline that much. It's like doodles. It's like doodling. Like they would like write the script like before shooting that same day and shit like that. Just like the guy Godard, like once he had broken up or divorced his wife at the time, but his wife, he had already casted her for his movie. It's Pierrot if anyone wants to watch it. I could probably like list it in the description as a thing cited. Basically, she had cheated on him on a set with another actor. And then he was like going through that, right? And it's also a point, according to his interviews, like a point where it was kind of low, like self-doubt shit. And then, so like he still had to do the movie because it was like basically planned. And like she's the actress, she's like the leading like female actress, right? So then it's like, fuck, I don't know if I'll just stop it and restart. We're still going. Guys, restarted.
Leading actress.
She was the leading actress, right? So then he still had to shoot the movie with her and basically see her basically every day after she cheated on him and they divorced. So guess what the film shows? Like the film portrays her as the woman who betrays the main male character, who plays him, who the male character is trying to like pursue his art career, and then she just wants like to live like a good life, like buying shit, living in society, like normal just society.
Trophy life.
Yeah, like materialistic kind of thing. So like that's him putting his like, and he describes the shoot as very like unconscious. So it's like that's straight subconscious. Oh, wow. So it's like random scenes that have nothing to do with the story. Like watching it for the first time, you have to really pay attention or else you completely miss the premise of the story, because he just throws random shit in there. So like if he wants to literally vent, he'll vent, but in film form. And that's crazy. Yeah. So it's like that's what they call art films. It's like
was the narration of the film kind of like, did it kind of follow the actual events, like the divorce?
Yeah. You can catch the story, just not like
he doesn't. Was the story made before it?
Yeah.
Or was it in terms of like, or did he alter it because of what happened?
He probably did, because there was a lot of script writing, like I said, like script writing that did it on the day of, literally before shooting, and they'd just run through the lines right before shooting. Sometimes he would have the lines like behind the camera, and then literally have to read the lines like as they shoot. So it was very like amateur, but like a good like amateur, and they each had their own styles. And from that, like a lot of Quentin is very inspired by Godard. Like he talks about like how Godard, like blah blah blah, like he looked at Godard films and it was crazy. Because I needed, actually I'm gonna have you watch that film.
Yeah, send it to me.
Because a lot of things that happen is like they break the fourth wall. They always want to make you like let you know. You know how usually like films are supposed to be like immersive, you're supposed to get lost into the story.
Right.
He doesn't like that. He wants you to know that you're watching a film at all times.
That it's a movie.
Yeah. So what he'll do is like break the fourth wall, like have the character just turn to the camera and say some random shit.
Oh, I love that.
And then go back.
Because it kind of just like, it takes a break from the actual movie. And kind of just like, wait, this is
all his films, all his movies, and from the first one.
It's crazy because that feels more organic. That feels more like realistic.
It feels like the director's speaking to you.
Yeah.
Through the characters, through the story, which is basically what it is. There's some shit in his head. Like, it's so tight.
It just kind of goes back to like what the Dalai Lama says. He's like, know the rules well, so you can break them effectively.
Yeah, and that's why they were so effective and so influential, is because they were critics, so they studied it. Like they were very into it, so they knew what worked, what didn't work, and all they were waiting for was their opportunity. Because like it was very hard at the time to like actually like make a movie, like technology and like shit being super expensive. You need like a whole crew because the cameras were so like complicated and big. And then when that new camera came out, it was like, oh shit, like now I can criticize movies. Yeah. Like now I can actually do this shit. I think he's still alive. He has a good amount of films. But like from that, like you have niggas like Wes Anderson now. You have niggas like who else? Christopher Nolan kind of has a style, but
yeah, I don't really like watch movies like that.
Bro, you should. Are you not into it?
No, I like movies. It's just like I don't register like, oh, who directed this, who directed that. I watch Tarantino's. Like that's the only.
How many Tarantino films have you seen?
I watched that one with the driving guy.
Pulp Fiction?
No, I watched that too. The one.
Driving guy.
It's
Reservoir Dogs. No. Jackie Brown.
Driving.
Death Proof.
Death Proof.
That's the one I haven't seen. Apparently, that's his only flop.
Really?
Yeah, that's the one like that a lot of people don't remember off the top of their head when they're naming Tarantino films. It's the one. Apparently, it's it's probably not his worst.
It's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, there's no story really. It's just like.
But isn't it crazy how like you can literally just like turn any Quentin Tarantino movie like midway through the movie and know like that's him.
Yeah.
Like that's what's cool. That's the niggas who last. Cause like. You like
they leave an imprint.
You know how many films come out every year?
Yeah. Especially now with like Netflix too. Like.
Yeah, and like, do you remember who made the movies? Like, do you even care about the movies after you watch them? Yeah, the ones that last are the ones who like put their whole like, I don't know how that works. Cause like, I don't know. Is there directors who don't want to last? Like, or they're just
clearly. I mean, I can't speak for them, but like, if you are expressing yourself in any means of any medium, whether it be like music, photography, film, like you want your name to last for as long as you can, right?
But I don't know. Okay, how about this question? Because we didn't answer. Why segues, freestyling. Why do you think people lie? This is like completely unrelated to what we're just talking about, but I really want to like, because I was thinking about that on the bus, but I kind of stopped myself from keeping like on going, because I was like, all right, we're recording today, I want to ask you that question.
I mean, there's so many factors that can take place, but most of it would just be like manipulation, right, to get your way. It could be like in terms of like you're not competent enough to do this, so you manipulate someone else to kind of make it easier for you.
Manipulation can be good sometimes.
Like, in what sense?
I have no idea. I just kind of feel like it. Maybe like I feel like it's just a feeling. Like I feel like sometimes like manipulating But the word itself, just saying it
just
sounds
not,
negative.
like, is there ever a time when manipulation isn't malicious? I mean, I guess there might be. Like, you tell a child, like, hey, don't do this. Or, like, they're just being annoying, and then you give them...
Yeah, I feel like it's the same as, like, white lies. White lies aren't really, destructive.
White lies? Do you think they are destructive?
I don't know. Because, like, white lies are usually, like... I mean, I think there's a balance. I think a lot of people get lost in white lying. Sometimes they just get to doing it for no reason.
Right, like, there's different degrees, yeah. It could just be like, hey, how are you today? Like, your mom might have died, but you're just like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But that's because no one wants to deal with that. Like, no one's really ready for that, and especially if you're not close to you.
That's not manipulation either. That's like
that's just a lie. That's just to keep the person. That's a white lie. It's like I don't think you care, and I think it would be like kind of disrespectful for me to like tell you such a personal thing, and you're probably in a great fucking mood, and I'm just coming here like. My mom just died, and now you have to think about your parents like could die, and now that whole concept's in your head, and your whole fucking day's ruined, depending on who you are, and how close you are to that person. I don't know, man. I feel like sometimes lying. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we lie because the truth is so like short term, like daunting. It's like just face.
Yeah, it's like I mean, instant gratification, right? Like you don't want to deal with it now. I mean, it's kind of necessary too at times, just because
you can't run away from the truth.
You can't run away from it, but it's like you're gonna have to do it eventually, right?
Yeah, I think lying is I think everything is like that. Some are short term pain, long term good, and then some are short term bad, and then short term pain and then long term good, and then some are short term good and then long term bad.
Right.
So lying is the one where it's like short term good, but then eventually it like adds up, like a Dollarama transaction. It's like, oh man, this is like $2. Like, this shit, that's cheap. And the next thing you know, you're spending $200 because you didn't see the fact that it was just adding up so much. You just saw the singular price every single time because it's short term. Like, oh my god, this is crazy. And then at the end, when you're finally done and you've done the entire course, you're like, holy shit, like, fuck, this is so much. Now I have to pay. I don't want to look cheap and all that shit. I think lying is the same thing. It's like short term. It just gets you out of that, like facing the problem that might be beneficial.
It's always gonna add up and like hit you in the face.
Yeah, you can't run away from reality.
That's why like people say like never, like it's never good to lie. Just tell the truth always.
Yeah, but sometimes you realize how hard it is to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Because like there's moments where like being honest would be like, oh man, like that would be so beneficial for that person. That would be so beneficial for myself. But like in that moment,
or even like telling someone their breath stinks.
Yeah.
And like not doing it.
But like it's a society thing, one, because like people are so like sensitive. You're afraid that they'll take it wrong.
But I think they never do though. Like
they never do.
If you tell them, they'll actually be grateful.
Some will just like,
thank you. That's actually
they'll just be like, oh shit, like okay, cool. Some will just like be like short term embarrassed, like oh fuck, like especially depends on how long it's been. If it's been like, oh shit, like I've been all day like this. I've been all day like this, and then this one person finally tells me like that shit, like that it smells bad.
And then you start thinking about like all your other friends.
Yeah.
Like, why did they not tell me?
Oh, maybe that's why they weren't like looking at me straight to the face. And now you're like overthinking it. Yeah. But yeah, I feel then that's the thing. It's like short term, you'll be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But in long term, you're good for the rest of those conversations. Like those conversations, you're like,
that'll be short term, right? Short term, you're good for all the conversation. You don't have to like. It's not awkward because you told them.
Yeah, well, it's short term. It's short term like bad because there's the awkwardness.
Right.
There's always an awkwardness in that. It's like your breath stinks, by the way.
Yeah.
And usually that's like something that people use as like as an insult. It's like, oh fuck, like damn, and it's like that short-term awkwardness, but then it's like, oh yo, good looks, and you get the gum, and then now long term you're good for the rest of the day, or until you throw away the gum or whatever. But now, like, so you throw away the gum and start eating again. But like until then you're good, like for however long you keep that good breath or whatever. But like short-term bad, like bad long-term is like you don't say it, and in every single conversation that person has, like everything is awkward and they don't understand why, and then they're in their heads about it, which makes it even more awkward. Bro, don't you find that like what makes situations just weird and awkward is when you're just most of the times when either you or that person is in their heads about not wanting it to be so much, that just ends up being.
Yeah, you can kind of like sense it.
Yeah, it's like
in the silence.
Or
even
hey.
one thing I've noticed is you can just tell by the person's eyebrows if they're genuine or not.
Yeah.
100%.
Or just the amount of eye contact they make.
Yeah.
You can just 5-10 seconds.
Body language is a big thing too.
And it's energy too.
Yeah. Well, it's all one thing.
Because I think that's why some people when you link up with them, me, let's say I link up with you, but that's because we've known each other for long enough that we're comfortable enough. But it's even before we never really did small talk that much.
Yeah.
Small talk is just discomfort with someone else, but feeling obliged to speak to them even though you're not really comfortable with them, so it just comes off so small talk just comes to me as so ungenuine.
Some people are good at that. Some people can keep going and the other person won't even know it's
to me it's one big lie.
Yeah.
Small talk is literally two people lying to each other the entire time. Hey, how are you? I'm not even gonna look at you, bro. I'm not even looking at you. Hey, how are you? Oh, good. You?
But I mean, it's also because you yourself thinking oh, it's just small talk. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That also has an impact because what if okay, there's this one guy who in first year of university, we had the tutorial, right?
Yeah.
And this guy literally when the TA left the class, he would take the test and take a picture and send it to everybody. That guy.
That guy, you need a small talk. You need a small talk with that nigga.
But I appreciate that too. He did something for me, and there's value in that, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of it's not that I feel obliged, but it's hey man, he did that for me. He went out of his way to be that vulnerable.
Yeah, that makes you feel comfortable with someone. That's usually what breaks the ice with a relationship.
But even in that sense, you kind of have to keep a small. Hey, how are you? What's up?
Yeah.
But I kind of for me, I kind of just it's just I just try to keep it as organic as possible. I don't try to stretch it.
But it's so hard because it's half.
So
it's 50-50.
Yeah. And you can tell they don't want to kind of speak.
Because sometimes you're fully down. Let's have a good little 2-minute conversation and just forget it.
Yeah,
but then that person's not really trying to be into it.
They're in a rush.
It's that one story. I don't know if I said it I don't think I said it in the podcast. I was waiting for the guy to come, right? I was waiting for the bus to come, and then I was catching the 10. But then the 7 came first. I told you this story, so to you it's just repetition. I'm literally standing there, I'm waiting, and then out of nowhere I feel a little tap on my shoulder. I turn around. Those are the worst ones when you don't expect the person because you're not getting yourself ready for the small talk.
And you're kind of startled too, fuck.
Yeah, so you're shit, fuck, I don't even remember your name. Oh, we know each other. So it's fuck. And then I turn around. I'm oh shit, because I remembered his face. I'm oh shit, it's been so, because it had been so long. I was oh shit, it's been so long. How are you? And he's I'm good. You? And then I'm so not in
wait, who said what?
Huh? No, I'm yo, how are you? Oh shit, it's been so long. How are you? And then he's good. You? And then he's clearly trying to catch the 7. So I don't want to hold him and be yo, what's how you been? Blah blah blah. So then my main thing, instead of saying I'm good, is take care, bro. So the way it went like this, tap on the shoulder, turn around. Oh shit, yo, it's been so long. How are you? Good. You? Take care, bro.
Yeah.
It's it's so weird because the thing with me is after I say how are you, I always forget that there's the good you coming.
Yeah.
So then I always forget that I'm supposed to go good. So then I either start saying something else, or to me after the good you, the conversation's over.
To me,
after I say how are you,
crazy. Most white people are so good at that.
So fucking good, bro. I don't know why. Why?
I don't know.
Why are they so so down for it, bro? It's either they're fake, calling out all white people. It's either they're fake as fuck because I'm black. It's either they're fake as fuck. No white people could call black people out. It's either they're fake as fuck, or they're just comfortable with other people that they could just ask you they don't need to know you to want to have a conversation with you. I don't know if it's because it could be a tribes thing. It's different cultures. But I'm not allowed to say that white people have culture because apparently they don't. They actually do, but I hate talking about race, so we won't. It's been around an hour.
Say word, an hour?
Should have, yeah. We're 40-ish minutes. Jeez. Yeah, you want to wrap up?
Yeah.
You have anything else to say?
I was just gonna say, what do you think about culture appropriation?
Cultural appropriation is one big bullshit.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't believe it either.
Originality comes from blending different liquids together.
I mean, I think it's just purely appreciation that's misjudged.
I think it's resistance.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, that guy did that to my culture. Like he's rocking it well.
Those same Asian cultures that people are so fucking fast to defend, bro. You know how much they appropriate white culture, like the West. You know how much they look up
because
to the
like,
West.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, because of colonization and like everything that
too.
is white,
Yeah.
English is like whoa.
Yeah,
it's
post World War II, like a lot of looking up, to it's my dad. A lot of looking up to like the West happened after post World War II, like post like Hiroshima. But he's gonna pass it for the camera.
Hi, I'm okay, and you?
This is my dad. Dad, say hi.
Hi.
I'm Akris.
We're recording right now, so you're saying hi
Hi.
to a lot of people too.
Yeah.
You're in the camera.
Say hi
You
to
wanna
the
say hi to the camera?
Oh.
Yeah, it was like post World War II. It was like they adapted capitalism a lot more after, and that was like this whole thing about like the very traditional Japanese.
Right,
like I'm talking about
colonial-
like Japan here. The more traditional ones were like very against it, but then a lot of people were for it, like just pushing towards
Right.
that like modernization and like capitalism and all of that shit. But like they like. You could say like I don't mean it in a negative way, because to me I don't see it as a negative thing, but they appropriate white/Western culture.
Yeah, but they don't get mad. White people don't
Yeah,
get mad.
but white people don't get mad because like, but as soon as like white people like, bro, like you know how cool that is for like you to see someone from the West like dressing up as someone from the fucking like Eastwood.
like that just shows like they actually appreciate your culture. Like,
Yeah. Some of course, like there's good copying and bad copying,
Yeah.
but you can tell when it's authentic. But
I
some
think,
people
like,
literally just reject the entire idea.
The line of appropriation, like for me, I'd call it appropriation only when it's like, oh yeah, this is mine. I didn't take it from here. Like this
taking
is completely
credit.
mine.
Yeah,
But
taking
who
credit.
does that? Like it's unless you're like uneducated and like willing
It's
to
so
believe
plainly
that,
obvious,
it's, like,
right?
obviously, it's not. Right?
It's like so obvious. Like yeah,
like the
this
whole
is
thing
not-
about like braids being culture appropriation.
Oh, I hated
like,
that.
Oh, you're no my culture. Like shut up.
Isn't that
like,
supposed to be like a
like
compliment?
okay wait like it is, and like the more you resist the idea, it's like it's the same thing as like, oh, your nose is big. And
Yeah.
if you get offended like, oh shit, you just called my nose big, like people are gonna know that's your tipping point.
It's insecurity.
Yeah.
It's
So when
I
if
think
you
it's
just
insecurity.
own it, like yo, that's my nose,
They
whatever.
can't
Or
attack
if you
you
go
for
like,
it
yo,
anymore.
that's sick, like you're actually like that's my culture,
Exactly.
but I appreciate you for doing it. Then there's gonna be no like. There's not going to be any more of that negative energy in between it, and it's just like it's going to be overridden by just the love.
I think it just stops evolution. Like
Yeah.
like Kanye said the one thing, and it's funny because he said it like in such a nonchalant way. Fuck, I hate dick riding Kanye, but fuck, he says everything. He claims
The more you
everything.
say you're dick riding him, the more it sounds like.
Cause I am. That's the thing. I'm so aware that I am. Like I'm.
But
Like
it's just pure appreciation, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if people
just-
don't understand
bro,
it, then
I love that nigga. But he said one thing, and it's like Kanye has his way of just finding the most simple ways to say something that you could interpret like philosophically.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he said in an interview, "We need more mixed kids." That's all he said. He didn't say anything else. We need more mixed kids. You need that like that Asian. You see some girl, and she's like half German, half like Latina, like she has like she's mixed like with Greece, like Latina, blah 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 blah. She looks you're already picturing that person in your head. It's a fucking like beautiful person. It's like exactly this. It's like that's
by
the
default,
point.
yeah.
It's like that's the point. You need that mix. That's why mixed kids like come off as so attractive. That's why mixed gets such a like pedestal. Is because it's mixed. Like it's a combination of two different things, and it's so important. But there's such a stigma on that.
yeah. And
There's such a
they're
stigma on
huge.
it. And it's
Even
like,
in like Nepalese culture or anywhere really, if you go back home and bring back like
don't
someone
bring
that's
a white
not your
girl
race,
home. Yeah,
like,
don't
it's-
bring.
They're like, no, I don't. I mean, I understand too, because it's like you want to keep the heritage and the culture, the traditions,
Tribalism.
like that too, and like you want to be sure that you can actually still speak your language.
Yeah,
that your
yeah.
kids speak the language, or else it disappears completely.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we do need more mixed kids, because I think.
I mean, it's not even to say like you have to have mixed kids. It's like, yo, just let people.
Yeah,
love,
it's like
man.
if you want someone else who is not outside of your culture, you shouldn't be hesitant because they're outside of your culture. That's so fucked. Like you clearly feel a connection to that person, but what's holding you back is these thoughts that people implanted in your head that it's wrong to go for that person because they don't look like your people do. Your people.
And it's like everybody knows this. Like every like most people that are listening probably know this.
They know it's. They all
But it's
know,
like,
bro.
how do you get your parents or like any older people that don't think the same way as you to understand? And that's the part where it's hard. Like,
I think it is changing though. To be optimistic a bit. It is changing.
I mean, it is changing, but like people have to be willing to learn. Like, you can't just teach them, and like they're like,
Yeah.
they won't learn unless they want to.
But we have to say,
like
we have to admit, like there's never been more interracial relationships.
True.
Like there's never been more than right now. So like, it's hard to like take in history as it's happening.
Yeah.
So like we'll probably look back and be like, oh shit, like that was like this shit that we were talking about was happening as we were talking about it. It's just so hard to see the bigger picture when you're like in it. Like,
And also like to try to kind of fast forward it ourselves, or like just as a generation try to make it more progressive towards.
It's the downside, because to see the full picture you have to separate. You need distance, but distance isolates you. So like to see what's going on, you need to be away from what's going on.
Right.
Like,
and then come back to it.
Understanding that like the people I hung out with in high school wasn't really like out of just like genuinely liking these people. Oh, they're gonna be so pissed. Genuinely liking these people more than like just chasing their approval. Like, it took me living here when my school was all the way in Orleans, and having that separation, never being able to connect, for me to actually understand it. Yeah.
For me, it was never like I
Understand how people worked. It was being like away from everyone else that made me realize like they're liars. Like lie. You see, like just seeing being in it is so hard to like not see how fucked up it is.
Right.
But like seeing how some of the white girls would like be all hang out with each other, but low key they'd either be fucking their just inner fucking, like the entire group is like fucking each other, talking shit to each other about who's fucking who, but then also like staying friends and like still doing it.
There's so much of that.
And to me, it took me being away from them to realize what was going on. Being in it, I don't think they really understand what's actually going on.
Because no one wants to kind of like bring it up either.
Yeah, because it's kind of awkward.
It's like, oh, like, it's okay as it is. So just keep going.
But like the point where I started learning that was at the point where I kind of accepted the fact that there was never going to be any connection with those people. No matter how much I tried, it never felt authentic. It never felt authentic. Any connection I ever had with those, like all of them. And if they're listening, it never happened. Never got like a sincere connection. And I feel like they knew it too, because bro, I came grade 11. They had known each other a long time.
Right.
So it's like you can't really just come in there. It was literally just like Jade, who I knew from time, who just introduced me to everyone, and we just kind of became friends. A few, of course, like we still stay in contact, but like everyone else, it was a barrier. And it was either like personalities didn't match, and I was trying to tell myself that wasn't true for such a long time, and then it's like eventually when you accepted it, you're like, yeah, like it's so easy to like figure it out once you accept the distance. But the distance at first might seem like it's the whole short-term long-term thing. Like distance at the first will be so daunting. That's why we don't meditate, because distance from your mind makes you realize like how crazy the mind actually is, right? Like the more you observe it, the more you realize how fucking crazy it is.
Like silence is actually the hardest thing.
Exactly.
Like bro, I just realized recently, and like I haven't gone a day without listening to music for the longest time.
Just being on the bus, huh?
Yeah, there used to be times where like the first thing I wake up, I need to listen to music, or else I can't.
Why is it so intimidating?
What?
Silence,
right?
Just in conversation
because, like,
alone.
Well, because like it will bring up your subconscious, whatever you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to the meditation thing in like a few days, so it's like
things are gonna come up.
Yeah, things are gonna come up.
Yeah.
And it's like you're kind of forced to deal with it.
So it's all just distractions, huh?
Yeah.
Cause
noise.
Because like silence. Once you're silent, that's when you start like hearing the thoughts that have been here like forever, that are always there. But like you start hearing them once you just in that silence. It was just so funny. Like when you're silent, shit get louder.
Yeah.
So I think it's the loudest.
Bro. Yeah, for sure.
That's when it gets the loudest. Did it go up?
No.
I think that's when it gets the loudest. That's when like just in general, like that's when like the noise is the loudest. Is when there's complete silence. That's why it's so daunting. It's like fuck, like all of this shit. I'm actually fucked up. That's what you just start realizing. Yeah. Fuck, like I'm actually fucked up.
I'm actually like my thoughts are not because of me. It's because of everything that has happened to me. It's like, and I'm just perpetuating it. Keep
and I have to accept it. I have to accept that this thing, I have to accept that I have this weakness, I have this thing, like these people, blah blah blah. And that's basically what happened. That's why I'm so like 4 years later, I'm so fucking grateful, bro. I've been distanced from everyone for so, like, basically my entire life, and now I'm finally realizing how important that actually was, even at the time it wasn't. It's still not cool, like, sometimes, like, bro, it's like, fuck. But, like, now, bro, I don't know, that distance gives you a superpower. You can observe more instead of, like, being, like, you can observe more than being in it. And it's the same thing as, like, being in traffic versus being on a, like, plane watching down on the traffic.
Right.
From the plane, it looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. You know exactly why there's traffic. Oh, yeah, there's this fucking car crash over there. Oh, yeah, it's, like, rush hour. Niggas are going home. And you see why. Like, you see where the cars are going. You see where they're headed. But in traffic is hell. In traffic, you're like, yo, like, you're basically just like, fuck.
Road rage, ready to fucking crash into someone for cutting you off.
You're like, fuck, I just need to fucking beat someone up.
But I find, like, man, have you ever seen me get mad?
Only with Tim fucking up our recording, which will come out May, the river video. Hopefully it's out by the time this episode is out.
Yeah, I feel like since meditating, I've been pretty good at that. Like, it still happens, but like.
Well, I mean, it's the whole thing. We spoke about, like, briefly. It's like, nice. What people do as resentment towards you having control over your emotions, it's calling you emotionless. Like, they'll use it as an attack towards you. Like, you having control, they'll use it against you, which is fucked up.
Because at that point, they're acting on their emotions. And
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, this is better than yours.
Because they know, bro. No, it's not that you're emotionless. It's that you
have control.
It's so easy. Like, it's one of those dumb moments when it's like, yeah, of course it's a suggestion. Of course, emotions are just suggestions. It's like your body or whatever heart just making you saying, like, maybe you should, like, do this. And then you have the power. We've evolved to be just able to have that power to go, nah, I'm not gonna act on this.
And I was meditating this morning, or even just like the past few days, and I realized, like, I never actually get silent. Like, there just always thoughts.
Always some, yeah.
And if the moments that are silent, it's because I'm focusing on something else, which is my breath or my body, whatever.
Yeah. Which is not really silent. You're just
it's not silent.
Replacing the noise with a new noise.
But I mean, that's what they try to teach you in meditation. Is focus on something else, like that you can sense.
Yeah, because focusing, I think the reason why is because focusing on that, you'll realize when, like, the thoughts come up while you're trying to focus on it. You'll see how much it actually gets in the way and how powerful it is. Like how like thinking actually, like, is always happening. That's what I took in from meditating and, like, trying to, like, pay attention to my breath. It's like, no matter how much I try, I'll either get distracted here and there, or, like, some thoughts, I'll still have thoughts come up and I have to go, like, no. And it gives you more control over your thoughts over time. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a superpower you gain. I genuinely think it's a superpower. The ability to feel an emotion and go, like, I'll just feel it and wait till it passes, because it always passes.
Because, well, not even just to pass, it's like, because sometimes you might even have to act on it, but there's that, you get this window, even if it's like a second long.
It gets bigger over time too.
It gets bigger over time. You get that window where it's like, do I act on it or do I not? And that's where the power is.
That's where the power is.
Because, or else you're just impulsive, like, oh, this guy cut me off. Fuck. Like,
you know what happens a lot in that? Regret, which is the worst thing, because you can't change anything when you regret. Like, regret is literally dwelling on something that doesn't exist anymore, which is the past. So it's like, if you're constantly, like, on your emotions, like, following everything, sometimes every time, everyone has experienced this, just doing something out of emotion and then regretting it afterwards. Being like, fuck, like, I was just being mad, I was just being sad, I was just being super emotional, and I did something super irrational. But then, like, when you want to be able to have control over that, instead of always feeling like you're just some one impulsive piece of shit who just always fucking, like, one moment you're mad and you just feel a need to just express it.
You're not even in control of yourself. And I was reading this book on yoga.
It's the only thing you have control over.
Which is?
Yourself.
Right. Or you sometimes don't, right? But
yeah.
That's the point of meditation, really. And I was reading this book, and it was a, like, yoga book, basically, and it was saying, like, it's just like yogi lore, like, things they say, right? But one of the sayings was, like, if you can slow your breath down to 4 breaths per minute,
Oof.
then you can control everything around you. Because
so
at that point, because what happens is like physiologically.
Is that good for you physiologically?
Yeah, because your brain tells you your brain is being told that everything's cool. Nothing, like you're not under any stress. Because what happens when you're stressed? You overbreathe. Fuck.
Yeah,
like
fast.
1, 2, 3,
fast
right?
breathing.
But when you slow it down,
Shallow, fast.
everything slows down. When you slow down your breathing, everything slows down. You can actually think clearer.
I was gonna ask, don't you get like less oxygen though? But if it's deeper breaths, you probably still getting the same amount.
It's not, because most of the time we actually overbreathe, which is bad.
So we're getting more than we need.
More than we need,
most
and
of the
that's
time.
is detrimental because, like, you just don't need that much.
Yeah, so it has to process extra.
Right. But when you slow your breath down, what happens is like
Less stress.
less stress. You slow your heart rate down, blood pressure goes down.
Makes so much sense.
All that.
It makes so much sense.
And
I should try
even
that.
when I was practicing free kicks, right? Like all I did was slow my breath down, and
Improved.
I just take the shot, and literally
what's the
without even
longest-
thinking, like the shot would go exactly where I wanted to, just
So
because I
fucking
slow my
cool.
breath down. I'm not even thinking, literally just flow. It's like hacking flow, slow state.
What's the longest you go breathing in now? Inhaling? Because to me
Inhaling-
it's like full, bro. Like I can't go more than 5.
You want to count right now?
Okay.
3.
One sec. Akris is about to inhale. That's the shit.
Countdown.
That's the shit we get excited over.
I'll snap
We got
when I'm done inhaling.
16. We're going at 20. 17, 18, 19, 20. Give me a sign when you're done inhaling. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? He's expanding. Oh my god, he's expanding, guys. We're at 20. That's exactly 20. Holy shit. That sounds so weird in the mic.
What, just the silence?
Yeah, it sounds like like the pff.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like gas like leaking out of a.
I feel like we should do if anyone even cares. Okay, if you do care and you want to see this, just leave us a comment or whatever. Like we can do some breathing technique stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I was gonna say we should either like try and meditate, like literally a podcast where we
just
just
like a guided
meditate.
meditation or like even YouTube videos. We can.
I don't even want it to be guided. I just want us to just literally meditate. 15 minutes of silence.
Well, we kind of like. What's the point of just recording it if no one's gonna know what's happening?
They'll have to listen. If they want to, they'll listen to the 15 minutes of silence.
I mean,
They'll be
they're
forced
just
to.
gonna turn it off.
They'll join.
No,
They'll join the
just turn it
meditation.
off. Who will
If they
actually do
want.
that?
I don't give a fuck. They'll skip ahead if they want to. We'll talk about other shit after the meditation.
Okay, I see. But I
They
feel
can
like
skip.
I feel like okay, if you guys actually care enough, like send us a message and we can do a few like breathing technique tutorials and stuff like that.
Actually, I really want to do that now. We're gonna do that. We're gonna
And-
dedicate an episode to talking about meditation and meditating. And we're gonna do a 10-minute meditation. We're gonna leave 10 minutes of fucking silence. And if the person wants to skip over, it'll prove our point. If they don't want to skip over and join and try to be silent for 10 minutes, then they'll get the benefits out of it.
Yeah.
It's not, there's really, who cares? Like, they'll just skip ahead. If they don't want to do it, they don't have to. But we'll just put it out.
Another rule of thumb, just like for breathing, you wanna like in order to like really affect your physiology and like if you want to reduce stress, your exhales should be longer than your inhales.
Yeah.
Because what happens is inhale is the sympathetic cycle, right? Sympathetic is like expenditure of energy, and parasympathetic is
Relaxing.
yin.
Letting
It
go.
multiplies energy, and yeah, basically, if you exhale longer, it slows your heart rate down. But if you want to like, I mean, there's lots of breathing techniques. There's this
yeah.
other one called breath of fire, where like you literally
Jeez.
hyperventilate like that, right? But there's a reason for it. And
Tony Robbins has a guided meditation that's basically that. But on his things, he tells people, what are they? Seminars. He tells people like at the end of the show, usually does a meditation where you but you do a physical movement where you go like this. It's like, and you do it like I think around like 30 times. And what he tells is like, bro, if snot comes out your nose, don't even give a shit. Like, just let it out.
it happens
like,
so
now,
much too. Like
yeah, because you don't even control that. It's just not like there's just a fucking thing where people say it's disgusting, but it's just something your body makes. And then at the end, you just chill and you just like like think of something you're grateful for, blah blah blah. Basic like corny but kind of like effective shit.
What do you think happens after you die?
Can we talk about that next episode?
Yeah. What time? What's the time
we're at 60.
Jeez. Okay, that's a good time.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's such a good cliffhanger for the next episode. Okay. This is the ASMR outro that I've promised.
Wait. Let me get my singing bowl out.
Do it while I'm ASMRing.
One sec. I brought it.
Oh, I love how homemade this is.
How are you?
What are you saying?
What'd you do?
You want to say hi to the podcast?
What'd you do?
In the camera?
No.
Oh. Okay, well, Chris is about to...
I'm going that.
Turn off close the door because it's going to be loud because he's going to bang this thing. It's going to go... I'm going to lower the volume so it doesn't get too annoying for people. Okay. Oh my God, this is vibes. This is absolutely vibes, guys. So, if you want to figure out what happens when you die, we're going to try to do some research on it. Some scientific research so that we have more interesting things to go off on. But if you want to figure out what happens after you die, tune in for episode 8 of the Ataraxy podcast.
Give us money.
Give us money, please. We need clout.